Thanks for being here with us. I'm Liz Adiola. Decatur police are investigating a double murder that happened last night. Ed Cross is live at the scene where shots were fired. Ed, what do we know so far?
Well, Liz, we do know that very little this time, but we do know that a wife and husband were shot in this house last night. Police received a call of shots fired in the 1200 block of North Clinton shortly after 10. When they arrived at this apartment, they found two victims with gunshot wounds. Police are not saying much, but family members and neighbors say 34-year-old Freedom Cunningham was found on this porch. The other victim was his wife, 26-year-old Central Cunningham, and they tell us she was found in a van in this empty parking spot. One neighbor recalls hearing the gunshots.
I heard a pop, 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 and it was just consistent, and I got down on the ground, and I went to my kitchen, and then I didn't hear anything, and I crawled upstairs.
That person we just heard from was one of the people who called police to report the shooting. Police say they have search warrants in place but have not released the names of any suspects at this time, and no arrests have been made that we know of. Now, the Macon County coroner has scheduled an autopsy for tomorrow to determine an official cause of death. Coming up at 10, I'll have more reactions from neighbors as well as an interview with a family member who was at the scene today. Liz, back to you.
All right, sad news this Easter. Police say if you have any information, you should call Macon County Crime Stoppers at 423-TIPS, where you can leave an anonymous tip.
When I first got the news, when I first received the phone call, it was from my mother asking me had I heard. And, I said no. She said that Freedom and his wife is dead. And, man, just that initial shock, it was like, I understand now why they ask you, are you sitting down? Because man, you have a tendency to just fall down, and I really fell back in the chair. And I can remember thinking, no, it's just like I wanted to say no and act like I didn't even get the phone call, and then thinking about it, I'm very active or very aware of what young men are going through. Years ago I ran a station, radio station, an unlicensed radio station in Decatur, Illinois called Black Liberation Radio. And one of our main goals was to make our people aware of the sickness that we suffer from. And this not caring about each other, trying to figure out where did that come from. But in saying I'll get emotional about my son, it's really something to admit that I'm almost numb to pain. Who am I to think that my son is more than anybody else's son? Yes, for somebody that don't try to do, or somebody that has never been involved in the struggle like I have. See, I've had countless numbers of sons die. I had a young man in Decatur beg to be on the radio. And finally they let him on the radio. I think he was a GD, and Vice Lords was hanging out at the house at the time. They didn't want a GD on the radio. I don't know nothing about none of that. He wants to be on the radio. It's all our radio station. He gonna be on the radio. One night, brother left the house, man, and on the corner of Webster and Decatur Street, he couldn't get in the doorway fast enough. And no more than 2 days after he had been on the radio station, he got shot. And he died. I think about a brother here, and I recall all this so that somebody will understand. It's not that I'm all that strong. It's not that I'm hard. I'm not emotional. No, I'm numb to something that I want so bad to do something about. It's like, okay, let the dead bury the dead. I want to do what I can for the living. See, my thing is to go outside and scream freedom's name as loud as I can, not because of my loss, but because I'm hoping that it inspires somebody to do something so there won't be another freedom. You know, I'm right here in Kansas City. When I first got here, you know, going through the first graduation, we celebrated Isaiah's graduation. I mean, with the little get-together and good words and everything. At the same time, young brother by the name of Cortez Williams, I'll never forget his name. You know, it's names like that that just go on my mind. Everybody know Trayvon Martin. Don't you? It's people right here in Kansas City that might not know the name of Cortez Williams. It sticks out in my mind because Cortez had graduated and was on his way to college. His mother is in the kitchen fixing his graduation celebration dinner. Okay, when she hear gunshots ring out, she go outside, somebody done just drove by and shot her baby. You know, it's things like this, like when you hear this so much, when you see, you know, I can go down to it. I've never been to war, but I could tell you names of fallen soldiers that I feel like I'm in a war zone. You know, I can call out, okay, Tony Holmes' son. I could give you name. You don't just name after name after name. And more to me is, when is it going to stop? What are we going to do to try to get a handle on it? It's got to be something that we could do. You got people in Decatur, Illinois will say now, what we need is a radio station, because it surprised me, the media coverage. Okay, man, you know, with all this technology, we want to go on Facebook so fast. Okay, my son is, to me, like a Facebook hero now. You die that way now, and it seems that they glorify you. You know, that's the way you want to go out. Boy, he told them haters to kiss his ass and gave him the finger and paid along. Well, you know, just on, to me, a lot of stupid stuff that we seem to, I mean, we've taken all of this technology that we could have used to benefit us. We've taken all this technology and found a way to just get in the gutter with it. You know, we just get in the gutter. If we would use stuff like Facebook, okay, to try to enlighten each other, to bring each other out of this state of mind that we're still thinking like we can't do or we need somebody to do for us. You know, every one of us, you know, in this communities around here, like I saw the visual last night on the news. See, you know, it's something that people don't know. I can listen to the Decatur, Illinois police here in Kansas City. Matter of fact, I was listening to them Sunday night. I heard them move my son's body. Only reason I didn't hear them respond to the call, I went to sleep for a few minutes, and the phone call woke me up. Okay, so when my mother told me what was happening, I immediately went back in the room, and I could hear the actual officers in Decatur, Illinois, out at my son's murder. I could know that their bodies were still there, knowing they securing the crime scene and everything. You know, with all this technology, I can tune in to their TV station or go to their website of their TV station and watch the news. You know, I know that somebody done started a memorial for my son where they did tape teddy bears and things like. I'm more concerned, you know, like I say, let the dead do for the dead. But I just got this thing in a way of remembering my son. You know, is to create a wall for freedom and call it Freedom's Wall. But the catch of it is I ain't saying it's freedom, you know, apostrophe S wall like possession. No, it's freedom with a question mark. And wall stands for we are losing loved ones. We are losing loved ones. Anybody that's got a freedom, go to Freedom's Wall, because if you look at it, we're supposed to be former slaves that achieved our freedom. We free now. Man, we worse than we were when we were slaves. I mean, we wouldn't kill each other if we couldn't think of killing the white man's property. You know, it's sad to sit up and somebody will think that this is just being sarcastic or something. Okay, for my son's sake, I wish we were still slaves. My son wouldn't be dead, because I don't think whoever shot him could even think about robbing the white man of his property. But to rob me of my son, think nothing of it. You know, think nothing of it. So I'm going to do everything that I can to create what I call Freedom's Wall. And I want, and I'm going to put it on Facebook where everybody else put it. And I want anybody that's got a freedom. See, his name, your freedom might not be named Freedom. See, Cortez's mother's freedom is Cortez, okay? We got a situation where a 17-year-old girl here in Kansas City, that's going to be on the news in a few minutes, shot down last week because she posted a comment on Facebook. Young brother took a gun, shot the girl. She went in the store, fed 17 years old, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I think if we find some, if you see how they use Facebook for just senseless stuff, I'm saying for once, let's try to compile a spot where we can go and actually get a feel of how many people we have lost, man. See, for me to just cry and be heartbroken over one, when there are millions. In one day, if word got out, hey, I just want you to post a picture and the story of your loved one that you lost to senseless violence. I mean, here's a chance for you to tell the world how you miss that person, the way you're not going to see that smile no more, the way you're not going to be able, maybe something like that would wake us up if we got a database where we could, and man, with a computer, it's just as simple as clicking on Facebook and bringing it up. Maybe if you sit there for 2 or 3 hours, if you got violence on your mind, you sitting there and you looking at these pictures of people when they party. You looking at pictures of people on Easter, on Christmas. You looking at people living real life that's not there no more. Maybe something like this will have an effect. You looking at people that look like your little brother, your little sister, your mama, your daddy. See, you finally seeing, so it finally brings it home, because see, my son is just another casualty. When I look at my son, I see thousands of faces. They just intertwine. They like, what, I don't know how Michael Jackson did that thing with the pet, but it's just like it can just wove one face into the other. And it's just that simple. It's time to do something more than just, like this faking ain't getting us nowhere. We can keep holding vigils, but if we ain't holding one, man, on a mass schedule, if we ain't holding one, a mass move, of saying, hold up, we tired. We tired. Where are the real men at? When you got people, man, they said last week, young rapper here shot, man, he was hanging with the mayor's son out at Zona Rosa, shot down. Say people just wanted to make a name for themselves, so they riding around now shooting people. I mean, man, how did we get so sick? And I would like to lead with people to recommend, okay, years ago, I used to, on the radio station, search out programming. So I could, because I didn't have radio stations where people sent me stuff. I had to find it myself. Years ago, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was on a Stop the Violence tour. And I could remember how I did everything to get those tapes. And I would play those tapes like, man, over and over and over in Decatur, Illinois. And I know a lot of people can remember. Okay, it's easy to Google Minister Farrakhan and Stop the Violence. It's easy to put radio stations on there for anybody in Decatur, Illinois that say, we need a radio station. Yeah, you sure do. Because the #1 issue the morning after 2 people were slain in the streets of Decatur, Illinois, was what happened at the Masters tournament. I mean, that talk radio, come on. We gonna talk about what happened. We ain't gonna talk about a mother and a father being shot down in our street. It's not even serious enough for that to be the morning discussion on the radio. We're gonna talk about what happened over the weekend, the Masters tournament. Man, what kind of foolishness is that? My people killing each other, and you want me to sit up and be interested, and you can win ratings. You can be the #1 morning show talking about somebody hitting a ball, and my people are getting hit, having hits carried out on them. But it ain't serious enough to even talk. Man, and for people that say we need find out how to do it. Google unlicensed radio station. Google broadcasting. And see how easy it is to put your own radio station on the air. So you see how easy it is to get you a mixer and talk to kids about Facebook. Like I say, it's something to go on somebody's Facebook page that's dead. Rest in peace, homie. He gone. He ain't gonna read that. He's not gonna access that page no more. Don't send him a friend request. You can't be his friend. He can't confirm it. But you have people just by the, man, I'm talking about everybody with a computer. I loved him. Okay, if you loved him, you could have showed it. And you can still show it now by making sure nobody else give their life for something that's just stupid. That's just worthless. Okay, show your love. Show your love, not by posting that. Show your love by going to Freedom's page and post a picture of a loved one that died the same way Freedom died. Because every one of us got one. It's something, whoever see this video, you got one. See, I know a lot of you got way more than one, but one ain't that hard to find. See, it ain't too many black families nowadays have not been touched by just senseless violence. Okay, what we gonna do about it? When are we gonna start to get a handle on it? Okay, in my own way, I think that my son's name, Freedom, is a way of me saying, okay, I done gave it all to me. I done gave a son. Now let his wall be the start of something that'll show how much we are losing loved ones. We are losing loved ones, not a wall. See, the slogan, we are losing loved ones. What are we going to do about it? And I would like to see the loved one that you lost. I would like to see the loved one that did, man, you got Chinese men lost, Koreans lost, Arabs lost. You know, it's just something that's just senseless. And we need to do something about it, man. We need to come together and actually find a way to say, hey, to just throw our hands up and say we can't do nothing. Okay. Look at your baby right now. Look at your child. Look at your son as he come in the door. Son, look at your daddy. And say we can't do nothing. You might be next making the next video. You might be the next one to go on the wall and post your picture up there.